I'll walk through one of these proving the identity problems. Maybe I'll do a couple of videos here, but if it's helpful, I appreciate you letting me know so I can know to make more of these videos. And if not, that's okay. We can try to work on something else to help you through these problems. So we need to start with this statement over here that the cosecant squared x minus 1, all in parentheses, times secant x equals cosine x times cosecant squared x. So you're taking the left side. We're going to try to rearrange it with facts until it looks like the right side. The first thing, it always feels like they're setting me up for something when I see a trig function squared and then a 1. Okay, it doesn't look exactly like maybe the identities you see in a textbook or something like that, but it's this this bottom identity right here. If you subtract 1 from the bottom identity on the right side of the screen, you'll get cotangent squared theta equals cosecant squared theta minus 1. In other words, cosecant squared theta minus 1 is cotangent squared. In our case, it's x, not theta. Then we still have secant x over here. So the rule behind that is a Pythagorean identity. Okay, the Pythagorean identities are the ones where you're dealing with squared variables, with squared trig functions. So yeah, validate. I don't know if it actually checks it. That is a valid. Oh, whoops. Yeah, I got that right. Cotangent. So hit validate, go on to the next step. Let's see what else we can do. Our goal is eventually to have a cosine and a cosecant squared. So we could try to, let's see. We could rewrite cotangent with what cotangent is. Okay, cotangent is cotangent is cosine over sine. But since it's cotangent squared, we've got cosine. I'm trying to get a fraction here. It's probably better if I type it over here. It's cosine squared over sine squared. Okay, that's one you want to keep on your fingertips. That cotangent is cosine over sine. So cotangent squared is cosine squared over sine squared. And with proofs, even teachers sometimes are not exactly sure if they're going the right direction. I'm doing something that's true, but I don't know if it's going to get me there in the quickest steps. And we can use what secant is also. Secant is 1 over cosine. We don't really need the parentheses there. So the rules, I use 2 different rules at the same time. I don't know if Alex is going to get upset at me, but I'm going to go down to the reciprocal identity. Okay, secant is 1 over cosine. In other words, secant is a reciprocal of cosine. So same thing with cotangent. There's a reciprocal, so I use the fact that the reciprocal rule, you could say. It's probably because I did 2 things at once here. Let's see. Let's bring this back to cotangent squared x. Yeah, so we have to do it 1 at a time because Alex doesn't like it if you try to do 2 at a time. Cosine squared x. That's in a parentheses over sine squared x. And then times our 1 over cosine x. Rule there is still reciprocal. Okay, cotangent. Oh, sorry. Alex calls this the quotient, and you can't quite see it. Let me zoom out. Alex calls the one on the left we just used, that cotangent is cosine over sine, the quotient rule. Okay. So now we got that in place. Now we got cosine like we want. We still need a cosecant squared. What we could do is you've got cosine squared x on the numerator and then cosine x on the denominator. So we can cancel one of those out with algebra. Oh, we got to put it all in a fraction again. So it's cosine x over sine squared x. Okay, and that's it because one of the cosines on bottom cancels out with one of the cosines up top. And when you multiply fractions, you multiply straight across the top, straight across the bottom. So I used no trig ideas there. I just used algebra for that step. And then the final step here is that cosine x times 1 over sine squared x is the same thing. There it is. This is the same as the line above, and that's really just algebra. Let me see what the rules are that we could use. Yeah, that's just algebra because it's like we rewrote the fraction. Cosine x over sine squared x is the same thing as cosine x times. We didn't use any new trig rules or anything like that, so we can just use algebra for a step there. And then the final step is we wanted to have a cosecant squared. We have it on the left side, okay? Using the reciprocal identity. Cosecant squared x. Oops. goes on the right side. Because 1 over sine is cosecant. So 1 over sine squared is cosecant squared. And the proof's complete. I'm going to hit check off your screen here. And we're done. All right, so that was my first time making a video. I was sorry it was a little long. Let me make another one, and hopefully that can help you guys. I can't figure out how to turn this.